All new on NBC2 News at 6. Video from inside the Orlando nightclub as a terrorist sprays bullets into the crowd.
They couldn't see the shooter, but they heard him laughing really loud, like, ha, ha, ha.
Chilling accounts of the massacre from people trapped inside the club as the FBI looks for clues into why it happened.
So far, we see no indication that this was a plot directed from outside the United States, and we see no indication that he was part of any kind of network.
And tonight, as families begin to grieve, we learn more about the 49 victims. NBC2 continues live team coverage of the terror attack. You're going to hear from friends and families of the victims. Plus, the shooter's father speaks with NBC2. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kelly Burns in the NBC2 studio.
And I'm Lisa Spooner, live in Orlando, where we've been out here since yesterday afternoon. Well, Kelly and Joe, as someone who's lived in Orlando for several years, I can tell you that this part of town is normally a very bustling scene, but today it's a different kind of bustling. Blocks completely cordoned off, and the only activity inside there, law enforcement officers. We want to give you a perspective of just how big this crime scene is. We've got an aerial view that's coming from our satellite truck. And investigators, they're inside, they're working hard, piecing together what happened, trying to learn more. And as we've come here and we've talked to people, the mood is shock and it's just disbelief. And people keep telling us things like this don't happen in this part of town.
Unthinkable pain caused by unimaginable violence.
Oh my God, dude.
This guy's firing off shots.
Horror in Orlando. At least 50 people are dead in the deadliest shooting in U.S. history. Now, it's the agonizing wait for answers.
No one can tell me where my son is, if he's been shot, if he's dead.
This morning, more victims will be revealed as investigators try to understand what triggered this man to pull off a terrorist attack.
NBC2 News today. Following breaking news this morning, investigators have started now to remove bodies from a nightclub where at least 50 people were killed. 21 of those people now named this morning. 53 others were injured in the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history and the nation's worst terror attack since 9/11. It happened at the Pulse nightclub in the heart of Orlando early Sunday morning on South Orange Avenue. It is an LGBT nightclub. And now Governor Rick Scott has called for a state of emergency in Orange County. Again, we know the names of 21 people killed in this massacre. This morning, investigators will be releasing more identities of the victims. In the last 5 minutes, we learned, too, that police will be holding a press conference in Orlando in just about 30 minutes at 7 a.m. Authorities say 29-year-old Omar Mateen called 911 during the massacre to pledge allegiance to ISIS. Mateen was living in Fort Pierce, where he worked as a security officer. He was killed in a gun battle with police. NBC2 News today has live team coverage. You see Dave Elias. He is in Orlando right now as the sun is beginning to come up at Pulse nightclub, the scene of the devastation. Gabrielle Shirley is live outside a popular gay club in Fort Myers, where she's talking about security in Southwest Florida. Let's begin with Dave Elias. Dave, it's been a sleepless night for many families. We now know the names of about half the victims, and we understand another update coming this morning.
Yeah, Trey, we're expected to get that around 7 o'clock this morning, and then family members will actually start arriving here at 10 o'clock this morning, and that's when doctors will begin reading off the names of those who were killed in that savage attack Saturday night.
You're my best friend, Bryson. If y'all see Bryson, his family is looking for him.
Demetrius Dollings was with his best friend when gunfire erupted inside the Pulse nightclub. The two were separated, and he doesn't know if Bryson made it out alive.
It was like gunfire after gunfire. You could hear when he dropped the clip to reload, to shoot again. Love your loved ones.
While Demetrius remains optimistic, some families who haven't received word yet are fearing the worst.
Well, by now, we assume that he's deceased.
A
Others overcome with their grief after word their loved ones were deceased. Jalen Bruce and Nelson Rodriguez paying their respects and reflecting on the horrific day.
That could have been us. We were supposed to go.
Instead, they stayed in. And like many here, they try to pick up the pieces and move forward.
I'm worried a lot more about how, as a people, we're going to take all this in and how we're going to expect our leaders to react. That's what worries me the most.
Now, sources close to this investigation tell me that as investigators were inside the Pulse nightclub working to identify many of these victims, they could hear cell phones ringing throughout the day yesterday and then throughout the night last night. They say a haunting reminder for them that there are dozens of family members desperate to find out whether or not their loved one has survived this brutal attack. And again, the very latest update coming our way at 7 o'clock this morning, and then family members will get an update around 10 this morning. We're live in Orlando. Dave Elias, NBC2.